Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 14 of This Is Why I'm Not Invited. My name is Nova Nebula, and per last week's discussions, more of like the poll, I actually have a very special guest today. So excited to introduce to you Billy.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Billy.
I did this online poll last week and kind of asked you guys what different aspects of the lifestyle that you would be interested in listening to, talking to, or learning about. And submissives, that was one of the biggest, I guess, voted for areas. So I got one of the best submissives that I know here.
Aww.
And we're just going to be having a conversation about, I don't know, everything.
Everything.
Really.
Anything. Yeah.
So tell me more about you. When did you get in the lifestyle?
Sure.
When did you decide? How did you know? Like, are you a submissive? Are you a switch? Let's talk about that.
Okay, sure. So I have been in the lifestyle for close to 10 years now. And a lot of that has been through trial and error and, messy romantic relationships that you try to intertwine kink into. And,
Yeah, I know.
it's doesn't always work. You got to find a kink person to do kink with. It's not always friendly for everybody. So, yeah, I've been in lifestyle for quite a while. A lot of trial and error, a lot of messy situations. But since I started going to actual like BDSM classes and actually getting into the lifestyle, I found a website that was very informative for me and something that I could do a lot of research on and connect to my community with. That has been when I really kind of blossomed and flourished. And I'd like to say I'm in my slut phase now, and that's okay. It's all good.
We don't shame here.
We all need one, right? We all need a slut phase.
This isn't a whore house.
No.
It's a whore home.
There we go. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We all have a home here.
Are you telling me you didn't learn from 50 Shades of Grey?
I am telling you I did not learn from 50 Shades of Grey. In fact, I had learned enough to know enough that was silly when that book and that movie came out. Well, the book was okay, but the movie was real silly.
I'm not even going to comment on that because I didn't even bother to read the book or look at the movie because that was a whole nother can of worms was not necessary for the BDSM lifestyle. Because hear me out.
Yeah.
Controversial, right? Would the main character, the woman, I don't even know her name, would she be okay with everything if this man was not a millionaire?
Right. Or as hot as he was.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, again, I didn't read the book or watch the movies, but I heard that there is a very specific scene in said book and movie where she said no.
Correct.
And
it's problematic,
again, he didn't stop, which is a huge issue for the BDSM community and the lifestyle community.
100%. It gives a really false notion of of what a dynamic is and, your freedoms, your personal responsibilities, and also your own personal boundaries, and having those and enforcing those, even as a submissive, is a huge thing, right? And that just kind of gives a false narrative of like, if you're a submissive and you enter into a DS contract, a dominant submissive contract, you have no agency. You can't say no. You have no veto power, and there are very, very few dynamics out there that do exist that, have those written into their contracts. And that's something that both parties enter into knowing full well, right? But that is very kind of a harmful, version of it, as I like to say, because vanilla people see that and think that it's just, well, no, if I'm the dominant, we do what I want and not what you want. And that's not true, right?
That's actually very toxic, and I'm glad that you brought that up. There are so many different dynamics in the BDSM lifestyle. I mean, there's a lot of different dynamics in every single lifestyle, but we're going to talk about things that we're well versed in, and BDSM is one of them. I don't agree. I'm going to upset some people, but I don't care. I do not think that master-slave contracts should exist because of the lack of agency that the slave gives away to their master.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe if there was more responsibility and accountability for these quote unquote masters, I'm using my finger quotes here, but I know you can't see me, but I promise it's happening. If there was more accountability for these masters and, I don't want to say like a course, but I feel like definitely a course in humanity and like decency,
Yeah.
because there's a really big trend with these quote unquote finger quotes masters, and they're not actually masters. They're actually abusers that use the guise of BDSM and also this very particular role of master to harm other people.
Absolutely.
So have you mentioned a little bit earlier about having different, I guess, vanilla adjacent BDSM experiences.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you mind kind of indulging me with a little bit about that?
Sure.
And when you learned about what a dynamic was and like this chronology.
Okay. So I definitely knew that I was before I knew anything about kink and BDSM, I just thought I was a freak, right? I like the freaky things.
Same.
Yeah, exactly. We all just are like, well, that's not normal, but that's cool.
No, that's not how it goes. Not everyone does that.
Right.
Oh my
exactly, gosh. Yeah. That's a big realization right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I found the world of like kink and BDSM, it like just gave me the kind of the vocabulary, the terminology, and the kind of the confidence to be like, oh wait, this is a thing. I'm not a complete freak. There are lots of people that get down like this. And
I need to interrupt really quickly. Billy. Oh. Billy is a freak. Keep going. Not in a bad way. A very great way.
All right. Well, now that that's out there on the internet, so
it's okay. I'll get more subscribers, so then the whole world will know.
But no, it's so for me, it was like getting the I guess like the resources to be able to talk about it with my partners, right? And I had a vanilla partner who I, decided it was safe enough to come out with them and say like, hey, I'm into some, kinky things, and would you be down on trying any of these, or is this like too much for you? And they were like trying to tell me that they could match my freak, right?
Okay.
And I was like, oh fuck yeah, or just get down, So like I pulled out my whole freak flag, right? The whole thing. I was waving it in the air, and it was too much for their freak, right? It did not match their freak.
So they were basically vanilla, and we're like, sure, I'll try this. Wait, what's the fine print?
Correct. Yeah, they were thinking like maybe some spanking or some handcuffs or like the like really
the things you see on TV,
intro level kink,
and like the porn shops.
Exactly, porn shop special stuff. Yeah. Exactly. And I was like, oh. Well, my whole ass is out now, so what do we do with this, And I felt all kinds of judged and vulnerable.
God. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to laugh at you.
No, it's fair. I mean, like, it was probably very funny if anybody was watching, right? But for me in the moment, it just felt very vulnerable and very like, great, where do I go from here? I can't take that back. It's not like can just be like, just kidding.
Psych.
Right. April Fools. Yeah. So it's a very big learning experience, right? And you learn very quickly if somebody is willing to meet you, willing to learn with you, willing to explore with you, or if it's just not for them. And that's fair. Kink is obviously not for everybody.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's since then in my, like when I have had vanilla relationships, it's always been something that I've tried to bring up in a very tactful, careful way. Then I stopped having vanilla relationships because it's just,
completely understand.
Right. Most people can sympathize if we're in the kink lifestyle. Like there's a certain degree where vanilla people will just never be able to understand where you're coming from.
Or be able to express themselves comfortably.
Correct.
So it's a combination of I want to say, for some people, it's a lack of wanting to try.
100%.
Because everyone can definitely learn.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing personally about life, a personal goal for me every single day is to learn something new.
Yep.
And then to utilize what I've learned to make more informed decisions.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why
that's the key part right there.
Yeah.
People stop after the learning something. They forget to actually put it into practice in their lives.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. We can learn every single day. We have our phones in our hands. We have endless knowledge.
Oh yeah.
The learning is a portion of a singularity, a singular thing, a singular moment, a singularity.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to not learn, if you're willing to not learn at all, done. Right? If you're willing to learn and then not try some application or explore the doing part,
right,
it definitely makes vanilla relationships difficult.
Absolutely. I mean, any relationships are difficult when those standards are not being met, right?
Correct.
But humans are messy just in general. So
You know what? We would not be messy if we all just communicated better.
you're 100% correct. But I don't know if most of us are capable of that.
Yeah, lack of accountability.
Yeah,
lack of trying.
Right, or lack of being told that it's okay to communicate on a vulnerable level, right? A lot
That's
of people
true.
don't think that's allowed or think it shows weakness.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican, so I have the whole machismo culture behind me. I am also toxic masculinity. For those of you who haven't met me, definitely a problem. Side note, yesterday, having a scene, right? I was bottoming for somebody. Gasps in Spanish.
It was really, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So after I had my scene with this guy, right? It went great scene, super respectful. We negotiated beforehand. He's an older, very experienced, dominant, knows his way around everything.
Has a very delicious name, by the way.
Yeah, it's great. I was bottoming for the man that I do wax for. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I just need to get my ass beat a little more. Do you know what you know what he told me?
What did he tell you?
He looked directly at me. He's like, actually, I think you're right. You do need to have your ass whooped a little bit more because you need an attitude adjustment because sometimes your attitude sucks.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, you know me. I already told you I was an asshole. He's
right?
like, yeah. He's like, but honestly, I think a good ass whooping now and then would set you right.
Damn.
Honestly, agree.
He can't. I mean, he's not
far
off.
Wrong.
He's not far off, but we don't like to talk about that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just bottom for anybody.
No, oh fuck no, no.
But so I digress, right?
Yeah. We. Yeah.
I also want to ask you a little bit more of like, what kind of submissive would you say you are? Because a lot of people, they think all submissives, it's like a box.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And their idea of submissive is like this box idea where, oh, the submissive just is beneath the dominant. They lose all autonomy.
Yeah.
They lose their voice. They're basically
an extension.
A puppet.
Right. An extension or a puppet. Yeah.
An extension of the dominant or a puppet of the dominant.
Sure.
And they do whatever the dominant wants at all times. It's 24/7. They have to ask to use the restroom. They have to ask what they're wearing. They gotta have permission for things.
Right.
So let's talk more about your style of submissive and your style of submission.
Sure, yeah. So submission to me, like I know there's, like you said, there's so many different kinds, right? I have not lived a 24/7 submission in a while.
That's hard.
It's real rough, right? Especially if you're going through any sort of personal stuff outside of the dynamic. It can bring a lot of baggage in with it, okay? So that's a rough one. And so I'm not talking about those because that's a different kind of that's a different level, right? And we all know that. But
that's actually called TPE, or total power exchange.
Yeah.
Sorry for that brief interruption.
No, please. Yeah. Total power exchange can be very liberating. It can be a really, really cool connecting, bonding experience, right? But it also can be very tricky because there are a lot of abusers who step into those roles and don't realize that they're carrying forth abuse. They think it's just another way of dominating somebody. Correct. So for me, submission has a lot to do with respect for that person, respect for their ideas, where they're coming from, knowing that they respect me. It's a mutual thing, okay? For me, I have to know that that person sees me as a whole-ass human, right? If they're looking at me like an object or something that they can just beat up for fun, like a human punching bag, that's one thing. I might bottom for them in a scene, maybe once, just to see how exactly that goes, because I don't mind being objectified every once in a while, right?
Who doesn't?
I don't mind being the human punching bag. I'm good at taking a blow, right?
Yeah.
But sorry, that was thank you. I know. Double entendres. Yeah.
Hey.
But for me, like, if I know that they don't see me as a whole person with autonomy, with agency, with advocacy, with my own desires, with my own intentions walking into the scene, right? Then it always is a red flag for me. And I will never necessarily enter into a dynamic that's longer than 10 minutes, without actually doing some deep dive into the psychology behind that.
Okay. So you mentioned that you won't necessarily get into a dynamic with someone that doesn't see you as a human being or like see you as a person or much more than the extension of their own personal wants.
Correct.
What do you look for in a dominant? Like, what makes you look at somebody twice? Because I'm sure, I mean, from my standpoint,
Yeah.
it's an
endless parade,
sea.
right?
Yeah, it's
Of
just
these quote unquote doms.
yeah, and it's everywhere.
Of
like,
course, yeah. So for me, a lot of times it's like definitely it's a physical attraction, that's for sure. Like for me, but that's not hard because like we mentioned before, I'm kind of in my slut phase. I'm in the whore house, you know, the whore home.
The whore home.
Excuse
It's
me,
the whore home, sir.
My bad. But like, no, for me, it's not hard to be physically attracted to somebody. I can find something about somebody that will make me like goon, right? Okay, so that's just my problem. That's on me. I get it. But like for me, there's of course physical attraction, but that's not necessarily a big factor for me. For me, it's about how they carry themselves. You can say you're dominant all day long, but do you actually act that way? How are you dominating people? Are you doing it in a manner where it's just because you're a narcissist and you like to be in charge? Or are you doing it because you're trying to help people around you grow and evolve? Are you doing it to try and be a mentor and like let other people around you learn from what you've learned from? You know, like all these things I take note of. So for me, it's a lot of a silent evaluation. I'll keep my eye on somebody that I might think, you know, might mesh well with me, right? I do a lot of research. I'm a internet creeper, so
Professional internet creeper.
Absolutely, you have to be. You have to be these days.
It's not called creep. It's called sleuthing.
Thank you. Investigative reporter is what I like to say.
Private eye.
Yes, thank you. But you have to be these days, and it's a lot easier because we have a lot of information accessible to us. You know, like you were saying earlier, we have all the knowledge in the world right in our hands, right? So for me, if somebody's going to put information out there about themselves, I better be paying attention to that. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of a dive and see like how do they respond to people in the community? How are they interacting with people in our community? Are they only interacting with other DOMs? Are they only interacting with other subs, right? So like these are all kind of things that speak volumes to the psychology around why somebody is a DOM and what dominance means to them. Now, I don't mean to say that I can interpret feelings and people's like, you know, where they're coming from. Obviously I don't. That's all just my precursor kind of research. And then I'll approach them and it'll be a very deep negotiation. It'll be getting to know each other on a different level first. For me, I have to at least have a modicum of like friendship or some sort of association with somebody personally in person before I will agree to actually bottom for them. What we do is so risky inherently, right? Kink and BDSM is inherently risky behavior on purpose. That's what makes it so exciting, right?
That's what makes us feel better.
Exactly.
That's how we are able to deal with these super complex emotions. It's an emotional outlet. It also can build a sense of community. But
100%. No, 100%. So I like to see exactly how they interact with the community, right? And then I will go and talk to them and see what dominance means to them. What exactly are their intentions when they go into a dominating sort of dynamic? If their intentions are just to exert control, that's a little bit of a red flag for me, right? So yeah, there's a lot of considerations when you go into talking to somebody, negotiations with somebody, or even just trying to feel somebody out, see if they would be a good fit for you. I like to think of it as like, it's like trying to find a good therapist, right? You have to really deep dive into why this person is here in this role, what they're doing in this role, what they're trying to get out of this role. For me, if there's a therapist that's just there to get a paycheck, like they're not really invested in me, right? Personally. So if there's a professional Dom or a Dom that's like, yeah, I'll top you and we can enter a dynamic, but they don't actually care anything about me or what my intentions are out of this dynamic or what I want out of my submission, what submission means to me, then I just know it's not going to go anywhere, right? Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever been approached by a Dom and immediately got the ick?
Yes. I was at a dungeon one time and there was this male presenting person who came up and he was in a leather kilt, had the leather vest, right? He had the total leather Dom daddy outfit. He had a little holster for his paddle and another little holster for his flogger. And I was just like, okay, this man is doing too much, right?
He's definitely equipped for the dungeon.
He's equipped for the dungeon. He wore his dungeon outfit, of course.
The
right.
regalia.
Exactly.
The leather regalia.
Right.
Hey.
And he didn't actually approach me or show me any sort of time of day, because I was a submissive, and in his world, doms only talk to other doms, right? It's a very gross kind of male-centric. Yeah, right. The leather world. We're not even going to go into that. That's a whole other podcast.
That is a series of podcasts. For sure.
So we're not going to get into that. But he didn't pay attention to me for a long time until he saw how much pain I could take in my role as a bottom. And then he came up to me and was like, hey, I would really love to top you. And I was just like, it was an immediate ick, right? Because it was only after he saw a really intense impact scene and saw how much of a beating I could take. And that made me feel like, are you here just to beat somebody up? You know, like what is about me that made you approach me now? After all this time, right? And so that was probably one time that comes to mind that gave me an immediate ick. It was just he was trying too hard to convince everybody that he was this, really experienced dom who had all the knowledge and all the tools, and then was like, oh, all the high protocol, I'm only going to talk to doms, and then broke protocol to come and find me to be a punching bag, So it was like, I was like, ew, either be high protocol or don't. What are you doing here? Stick to your own rules, bro.
So I don't want anyone to misunderstand.
No. Sorry.
I love leather. My very first introduction and my BDSM mentor is actually the top medical fetishist. She was the champion of West Coast Olympus Leather when it was still a chapter. She won international. Beautiful. She does medical play, latex, and leather. So leather daddy for sure. Yeah. I love leather people, but
me too.
Sometimes one of the things that sucks, and I hate to say that it sucks, because we think that we grow up as adults, and we think that all of the niche cliche bullshit ends. Right. And unfortunately, it follows us everywhere.
There's still cliques. Kink. Right, exactly. There's still cliques in kink. It's still kind of high school politics, gosh. And the leather folk tend to be the jocks or the popular kids, right? Who make the rules and enforce the rules in my mind. And I love that for them. I love that for them, but that's just not me. I was never that kid, right? I was the nerdy theater kid, sneaking out behind the bleachers to smoke a joint so I could go sing, it was this silliness, So, but I love leather. I mean, I'm a boot black, right?
Yeah, I love that. So what does boot black mean, since we're talking about it?
Sure, of course. Yeah, boot blacking is I like to think of it as total leather care. Okay, so you have a special connection with leather and you want to care for it, you want to condition it, you want to clean it, you want to make sure that it is sparkling and shiny and bright and beautiful for any scenes or anything that they're going to wear, right? So it's very much a service position, which is right up my alley, being a service submissive. I love being able to provide acts of service. This is a very clear, quick, tangible thing that I can sit down. I can have personal contact with my dom or my top. I can hold them, massage their legs, massage their feet through the boots as I'm cleaning their boots, polishing them, conditioning them, making them shine and making them gorgeous, so that way they can come and punish me in those boots, right?
I love that.
So it's a kind of like a full package thing, usually boot blacking, but I like to think of it as a very connected, very personal shoe shine, right? So you think of it like a shoe shine, you sit down at a shoe shine, and this person's just there to provide a service, right? But when you're boot blacking, it's more of a scene where you're actually interacting on a very kind of more intimate level. And I've seen some boot blacking scenes that get real sexual. And let me tell you, fucking hot as shit, right? Hot as shit. But
definitely have to agree with that. Sometimes I'm like, are we still working on the shoes?
Right.
Where did the shoes go?
Right. I thought I was wearing shoes. What happened?
What?
No, so it can be a really amazing connecting thing, and that's what I love about it, is the service part of it. I also love leather and love caring for leather. I feel like because it's skin, it's such an extension of ourselves, and it's such a fun, important accessory that, especially in our kink world, our BDSM world, like leather is such an important part of our tools.
Yeah.
And the things we wear, and so like I love getting to help care for those things and keeping them shiny and beautiful and bright and conditioned, right? Because a lot of times if we don't take care of our leather, it starts to break down.
Yeah.
Because it is skin. And a lot of times we just don't think about those things. So yeah, I'd like to say it's a much more connected kind of boot cleaning, shining process where you can have that interpersonal connection with the people actually wearing the boots at the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about like dominance that immediately gave you the ick. We always see in the BDSM community that there are lots of applications and requirements for submissives, if you
Sure.
would. Hey, I'm looking for a submissive, and there's a whole list of things that these
fill out this Google app. Yeah, this Google document.
Forms.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were looking for a dominant, what would your Google form look like?
Oh, that's a great question. I think first and foremost would have to be, what does dominance mean to you? That would be, and I know it's an open-ended question, and it's kind of like an essay prompt.
That's the point.
That's the point, exactly. Should not be yes or no questions on these forms, right?
Everything needs to be open-ended, thorough, and detailed.
Right. Besides, are you of legal age? That's a yes or no question. Like, there's the only one that can be yes or no. But no, like my first thing is like, what does dominance mean to you? What's your intention out of wanting to dominate somebody else, especially me? It has to be a personal thing, a personal connection. And so that would probably be my first and foremost thing on a Google, doc that said
Jot form.
Yes, thank you. Google Forms that said, please tell me what are you doing here? What do you want out of this? And that will tell me a lot behind why they're there, what they want out of me, and what they want out of the dynamic. And once you understand and have that intention super clear on both sides, it honestly opens up so many doors to so many different things that you might not have even realized you both had in common or even wanted, So I've seen dynamics that go beautifully once you open up those doors to like clear consent, communication and communication of your own intents and what you want out of your domination or your submission.
Okay. What is a scene that you've been dying to do but have yet to complete?
Oh, that is a good question. There are quite a few on my list because, again, I'm entering my horror phase. So I have quite a big bingo card for 2026.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We're absolutely ready.
Yes. But the first one that comes to mind is fire play, especially since I just witnessed that the other night.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Did you witness that?
I did. It was fucking phenomenal.
I'm so sorry.
No.
All I remember is there's fire. I smell fire. Where's the fire? What's the burning smell?
I was covering door to dungeon and somebody was doing a fire play and I was not.
It was me. I was
not informed
of said fire.
I was not informed, and as a very concerned member of the community and this dungeon, I ran the house service sub. I literally come running into the brain room, going, "There's a fire! Everybody, would you smell it? Where's the fire?" It
was me as I was naked on my custom St. Andrew's cross.
It was amazing.
Okay, my bad. I definitely
it's cool.
should have told you.
It's fine.
Definitely got to remember to tell everybody because we told everyone in the back.
Yeah, it's cool.
Literally a spectacle.
I was awake. Don't worry.
So we're resetting. I mean, fire is fire. We did. There was a little fire.
Something caught, but it was controllable.
Was ready. We have a fire extinguisher. We have a fire blanket. Again, the man that I bought him for has been doing fire probably longer than I've been alive.
Exactly, yes.
Or like at least a third.
At least as long as you've been. Yeah.
Yeah, the entire time I've been alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The happiest moment of my life of last night was you just running in your Crocs. There's a fire. Where's the fire! I can smell it. What's happening?
I literally was about to start carrying people out.
Yeah, I was waiting for the fireman carry, and I'm glad. I'm glad it didn't have to happen.
It's coming. No, but that's something I really want to experience is that fire play. I love the sensation play. I love sharps. I love knives. So like for me, the next step is like to get lit on fire on my skin. Like I want to see. Because I'm a chef, so fire and knives come naturally to me. Oh my gosh, and I've been burned so many times I can't even count. So I want the actual, real, controlled burn, you know? So yeah, that's what I want.
Okay, that's great to know. So super exciting. Billy is obviously a rack player like myself. Mm-hmm. Really quickly, I don't remember if I said what rack is. Do you want to talk about the acronym really quickly?
Sure, yeah. Do you prefer rack over prick? I know it's a conversation for another day.
I get it, but that's definitely a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
because that itself is a whole nother in-depth conversation about the things you're talking about.
Of course. Okay, so rack. Let's focus on rack. Risk-aware consensual kink is what it stands for, and in my mind, that just means that everyone you sit down and during your negotiations, you can.
Really quickly, I'm actually in my dungeon recording right now. I'm sure you hear things in the background. Basically, Billy, I want to do more community-driven events, right? I don't want to be known for just having a BDSM dungeon. I don't want to be known as a fucking sex club because that's not what I'm about.
Right.
I want to build a community. And Billy and I kind of have the same wavelength of trying to build a community. And one of those steps for this was basically having like a crafting event. Mm-hmm. So each Sunday now at the venue, we basically have a crafting time.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I like to call it like, I mean, it's not an hour, it's 2 hours. So it's not a crafting hour, but it's a crafting social.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. We have a crafting social. So everyone basically comes to the crafting social. Mm-hmm. We have wet mediums like paint, and then there's markers, and then there's drawing, and then there's a whole bunch of other things. So I decided, because I did miss a week because I'm trying to manage my time. As you guys know, mm-hmm. I'm a procrastinator, and I just have horrible time management. There's so much going on all the time.
You're a human who has things going on.
You don't talk to me like that, okay? You remember I'm a problem. How dare you humanize me? But yeah, so I decided, because I'm like, why am I going to be at home recording in the quiet and by myself when I literally have a fucking dungeon that I can record at during crafting time, exactly. No less.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably going to hear some stuff in the background. Everyone knows I'm recording. You can't really hear anything although the music.
Today we have a really cool mix of crafts. I kind of just want to like talk about it.
Oh my God, the miniatures.
Right? Somebody's painting fucking miniatures sick. For Warhammer 40,000.
I learned what that was today. Oh my God.
She was today years old. It's fine. It's fine.
But now my ADHD is going to fucking hyperfixate.
Oh yeah, no, you're going to get the books and everything. Yeah. It's a really deep dive. So be prepared.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Exactly. No, 2 months.
Oh my God, no, I don't got time.
Anyway, and then somebody else is curling paper. Doing paper curling. Yeah, so they make those mosaics of the curled papers.
Okay.
Gorgeous. Somebody else is finger crocheting.
Fucking love crochet.
Somebody else was working on their jewelry. They make stainless steel jewelry for like collars for submissives.
I love it.
It's gorgeous, right? So we have a really cool mix today of people just doing, somebody's writing, like, because we have writers.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's not just for crafts. It's anything that's you want to get creative and just kind of body double or share creative space with a bunch of really cool queer people, and we're not all queer, but most of us.
You just look at me and say we're not queer?
I said not all of us are. I know you are.
Who's here that's not queer?
Red. Oh, that's true. He's pansexual.
Look at even this one.
Pansexual. You're right. Okay, my bad.
Even you. Okay,
he's just bad at flirting with men.
Volunteer here. And even the other volunteer just gave Billy the side eye, like, excuse the fuck out of you.
Excuse you, yeah. Excuse me? You're right. He's just bad at flirting with men, but that doesn't mean he's not trying.
Some people are just not good at flirting, okay? Sometimes me. Do you know what I do when I like somebody?
What do you do?
I like dirt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have conversations about dirt and plants. Yeah. I did that. I know we're moving off from the topic.
We're moving off
topic,
some
really cute girl tried to hit me up, and I was like, I like dirt. And she just looked at me, and I was like, I grow plants. Yeah. And it didn't get any better.
It didn't get any better?
But I got her phone number. I still got her phone number, and it worked. I don't know how, but I cannot tell you.
I mean,
my
I can
brain
tell you.
defaults to
I can
dirt.
tell you
Oh
how.
my
It's your
gosh.
whole aura. It's your whole
Oh my
you.
gosh.
But yeah, anybody that doesn't know this person in person is missing out. But yeah,
I am a problem. I just want to be honest.
I mean, yeah, chaos gremlin.
I do like that. That's
Yeah.
actually a very valid term. The chaos demon, the problem.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're talking about rack.
Oh
We're
yes.
talking
Okay.
about
Yes.
rack.
Risk-aware consensual kink. Okay. So I love the idea of rack because it holds everybody to that deep personal negotiation, right? Where you have to both be aware, or all parties involved, not two, because sometimes we get real freaky with lots of parties, right? But
Consensually.
of course, but everybody's aware of the risks going into the situation. Okay, everybody needs to be aware that the things that we are doing in this space are inherently risky.
Yes,
right? They
correct.
all come
100%.
with risk. Yeah,
Some are riskier than others.
absolutely, 100%. And I always get stuck on the term edge play because sometimes it feels a little, because I'm an edge player, right? So sometimes I feel othered by that term, but yes, I get it. We're all super risky activities. Some are more risky than others.
Yes.
So as long as everyone is aware of those risks and everyone is consenting to these kinky activities, you have a really good basis for coverage on safety, right? Emotional safety and physical safety. I think that it's a really good jumping off point, but it doesn't necessarily cover everything. So it
doesn't.
Of course.
That's a whole other conversation for a whole another day. We
Whole
can
nother
totally
day,
talk
right.
about prick versus rack and all that stuff.
And there's so many classes on consent and those consent styles too,
Yeah.
right? And we can even have a whole class on that because you and I have enough of experience between the two of us to do that. But
I think we definitely should have more consent classes because no one fucking listens.
It just seems like it's a lost concept, and a lot of people get stuck on permission versus consent. Right.
I love that.
Consent
That's
is an
valid.
ongoing thing, and it can be revoked at any moment.
Yeah.
And if it's not enthusiastic consent in my mind, then it's not consent.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's not an enthusiastic, absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Then that means it's no.
It's a no. And
yeah.
And for me, and you did ask this, I am a little switchy, right? I do top occasionally, but being a service sub, I just like to give pleasure to other people. So if they want me to be more dominant in that scene, I'm still kind of considering myself a bottom or a sub, right? I'm taking on a dominant, right?
Yeah,
I'm taking on a dominant role, right? So yes, it's a little switchy, but for me, I think that it comes from that place of wanting to serve, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that goes back to my personal style of submission and service submission, you know. So, but I totally lost track of what we were talking about.
It's fine, because I remembered my question that I forgot 5
minutes ago. Perfect. Let's go. Yes. Yeah. Give me your question.
It's going to be a little bit deep, a little bit personal.
Uh-oh.
And no, it's good. It's something that I wish that we would talk about more. I'm sure you heard of the little concept of what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, yeah.
So what would you tell yourself at the beginning of your submissive journey?
Ooh.
And what wisdom do you think you could imbue on people that are trying to just figure it out? Like
baby subs, yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I found these things. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
That kind of calls to me. I think I might want to be submissive.
Yeah, look at that stuff.
But what does that actually mean? Yeah, absolutely. So I love that. What advice would you give your younger self? Because it's really a very kind of uncovering assignment, right? You do a lot of soul searching and digging. And for me, when I was a baby sub and just coming into the lifestyle and figuring out that I enjoyed submission, it also comes with a lot of pitfalls, right? There's a lot of treacherous territory in being submissive, or even in being dominant too, right?
I feel like, honestly, even though I'm femme presenting, and I've definitely had a rough life experience overall.
Of course.
But I feel
like Latina femme presenting? You've had a rough life?
Excuse me, I am Mexican. I am not fucking Latin. I swear to fucking God. If you're gonna call
get punched.
Okay. You are gonna get punched.
Fine.
I'm gonna fucking falcon punch you.
Fine. Mexican female? You've had a hard time?
I prefer, if you're gonna really use like a gender, I am Chicano or Chicana.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
All right.
First generation on one side and second generation on the other. I fucking hate being
damn
called
proud.
Latin. Yeah, we'll fight.
Yeah.
Fuck ice. I'm gonna throw a chair. Anyways, sorry.
Anyway.
Back to the whole thing. Like,
yes.
What would you tell yourself? I know hindsight is 20/20, and I'm not asking for like the whole I wish I would have known this. I'm
Right.
talking about
In
that
general.
personal. No, I want the personal, like, hey, you're trying your best.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I want like the
I can
wisdom.
talk to baby Billy. Yeah.
Yeah, talk to
Okay.
baby Billy, but I also want you to like talk to baby subs that are just starting out, absolutely clueless.
Yeah.
What could you tell them to potentially help them make safer choices,
Ah,
make
that's
safer
great.
decisions?
Yeah.
And the thing that I hate the most about people, the perception that people have of submissives is the loss of autonomy.
Mhm.
Because that is the thing that hurts me as a person the most, even though I'm a dominant and
Yeah.
I fucking love my submissives and
Yeah.
I love playing with submissives. Obviously, it's a whole thing. But like,
I can confirm.
But I hate when other dominants just see people as like an item that is a non-feeling, non-sentient being.
Yeah.
And like
A toy.
I feel like it's worse than that.
Yeah, it can
So
be sometimes, yeah.
what would you tell your younger self?
Absolutely.
What would you tell people that have no idea what's going on, and what could you imbue to them to help them make some smarter choices?
Great question. I really have actually been thinking about this a lot lately. I would tell myself and anybody else just starting out on their submission journey that it's okay to say no. It's okay to have agency.
Yes.
It's okay to enforce boundaries. It's okay to say no, not today. Right?
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
because you did an impact scene that was intense yesterday
Mm-hmm.
or last week with the same exact top in the same exact place does not mean that tomorrow you're going to be in the same headspace or emotional capacity to take the pain, right? Pain can be healing. It can be, all these things therapeutic, but it can also be traumatic, right?
Absolutely.
And our body can't differentiate between the pain. Our brain can, but our body can't.
Yeah.
So if your body is already overloaded and you take pain on, it can just be a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that when I was younger. And so I was like, oh, all the circumstances are the same. Of course, I like playing with this top. I already know how they hit me. Of course, let's do it again, But if I'm not in the right mental capacity or emotional capacity for the pain in that moment, it just serves to mess me up. I get a really bad drop on the other side, that sub drop that you hear of. It's a real thing, right? And you can get a really bad emotional, deep kind of crevice that you fall into if you're not in the right headspace and have the right intention going into the right scenes. Okay. So for me, what I would say is agency is huge. And yes, you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to enforce your boundaries. You're allowed to have boundaries. A lot of times when you're first starting out with subs, as a submissive, tops or dominants that might be guiding you, quote unquote, or mentoring you, there's some red flags, right? They push you into dynamics or they push you into sexual situations, or they push you into, pushing your own boundaries and limits as under the guise of growth, right?
Yeah.
That they're mentoring you, they're guiding you, and they're teaching you how to be a better submissive and teaching you how to take pain more.
But they're not.
They're not. It's just an excuse for abuse, right?
Absolutely.
Anybody that wants to actually mentor you should not want to have a sexual relationship with you.
Correct.
They should want you to go at your own pace. They should want you to take things slowly, do the internal work it takes to actually be a good submissive, right? There's a thing called active bottoming, and it's a real thing. And that is something that I would probably tell baby me as well, is look into active bottoming. Find out why you want to get beat up. Right? Yeah. What's the psychology behind it? Is it adding to your trauma, or is it actually healing your trauma? Because when I first started getting into my submission, I got into really heavy impact right away. And it was because it was adding to my trauma. I thought I needed to be punished, right? And I was seeking out that external punishment for my own internal trauma. Now, it's a totally different story. I'm on the other side of the spectrum, and now submission is a gift, something that I do that brings me joy and brings me a sense of accomplishment and pride that I can actually be vulnerable and submit to another person and to their, whims and desires, with them still respecting me as a person, respecting my boundaries. So that's the huge thing that I would emphasize to new people in the submission world is find your boundaries, stick to them, don't feel bad enforcing them. And if anybody makes you feel bad for saying no or having agency as a bottom, they are not a worthy top.
Correct. I absolutely agree. no one that forces you to feel a certain way, to do something you don't want to do, or makes you feel ashamed. If you ever feel bad,
Yes.
guilt,
Mhm.
shameful,
Mhm.
embarrassed, or you feel like you have to filter yourself, they are not
They're not
the
for you.
person. They're not the person. They're not they're not a dominant. They're not a good person.
Correct. They're not
an
a
abuser.
true dominant. They are an abuser, using the term of dominant as a cloak.
Yes, absolutely agree with that. I'm going to go ahead and thank Billy for being here. Say bye, Billy.
Bye, Billy.
We have an event to run. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone had a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday.